I don't get nearly as much downtime as I'd like to in my various pursuits as a film critic, cultural commentator, wanted fugitive, and Z-list video game celebrity. If you do see me around, I'm probably working, but I've probably got the TV on in the background anyway, partly because I want to know what's going on in the world, but also because
TV is weird.
yeah, we're branching this angle out, and for the Big Picture's inaugural foray into television weirdness, I thought I'd introduce those who may not be familiar with it to what was, in my humble opinion, the greatest TV show of all time, Mystery Science Theater 3000. In the far-flung ancient days of 1988, mild-mannered prop comedian Joel Hodgson got some buddies together and made a TV show for Minneapolis-St. Paul station KTMA. The pitch? Repurpose the schlocky, low-budget movies broadcasters kept on hand to fill their programming slots into a comedy show by having comedians make fun of said movies as they were playing, silhouetted in the bottom of the screen as though they were in a movie theater. In those days before YouTube and DVD commentaries, this was a rather novel approach. In the show's premise, Joel himself played a janitor trapped on a spaceship and forced to watch bad movies by the mad scientist Dr. Clayton Forrester, who's hoping to find the worst movie ever made and somehow weaponize it. To keep his sanity, Joel has constructed 4 robotic buddies: Crow T Robot, Tom Servo, Gypsy, and Cambot. Those last 2 actually just run the ship. The first 2 help him make fun of movies in the theater. After 1 season on KTMA, the show was picked up by the fledgling cable network Comedy Central, then simply called the Comedy Channel, and for nearly the first whole decade of the channel's life, the popular and award-winning MST3K was the crown jewel of its original programming, even through a series of major cast changes. Hodgson left the series in Season 5, with the show's head writer Michael J. Nelson replacing him as the lead and neatly dividing the fan base, called Misties, into rival camps a la Kirk vs. Picard. Frank Conniff, who had himself replaced Josh Weinstein as Dr. Forrester's sidekick after the first season, would depart in Season 7 to be replaced by Mary Jo Pehl as Forrester's more evil mother. But in the mid-1990s, Comedy Central underwent a management change, and the new bosses wanted to move the channel in a new direction, i.e. away from smaller, quirky shows like this one. The show was cancelled, and the producers turned their efforts toward a theatrical feature film adaptation while securing the show a new home on yet another newly launched network, the Sci-Fi Channel, back when it was spelled right. The show would have its final 3 seasons there before reaching its ultimate conclusion. If you've never seen the show, the appeal can be difficult to describe. They really do run a whole bad movie, and a guy and 2 puppets really do joke about it the entire time. The overall look and feel of the proceedings was like some temporal crossover of vintage Doctor Who and Mr. Rogers, while the sense of humor sits somewhere at the nexus of Douglas Adams, Conan O'Brien, Weird Al Yankovic, and Mike Judge. But whatever the magic was, it worked. The show remains a cult classic to this day, and while not every actor or filmmaker was happy when their work became fodder for the bots, they wound up turning some truly obscure stuff into ironic cultural touchstones in their own right. It's widely believed that the 5 episodes devoted to the Gamera movies played a big part in making that character relevant in the US again, and a featured showing on the series turned a completely unknown, locally produced Texas oddity, Manos: The Hands of Fate, into a full-blown cult classic in its own right. Okay, some of you may be saying, sounds fun. Where can I see it? Well, that's the bad news. To a large degree, you kinda can't anymore. See, licensing whole movies, even bad ones, is seriously expensive stuff, so the makers of MST3K relied wholly on the already paid-for libraries of the networks they aired on. Remember, this was the 80s and 90s. Back then, you didn't expect every episode of something to ever be seen again anywhere but in reruns. As such, though 198 episodes of the show were produced, only a relatively small number are currently available to be sold on DVD, but those that are sold include some of the best material and are well worth seeking out, and you can find clips of the series all over the web, where the show's popularity has only continued to grow. In addition, the cast and crew of the show have reunited in various permutations over the years to produce similar projects. Mike Nelson, Kevin Murphy, and Bill Corbett are the minds behind Riff Tracks, providing downloadable comedy commentaries of Hollywood blockbusters, along with a more traditionally MST3K reminiscent DVD series called The Film Crew. Meanwhile, Hodgson and fellow cast members Trace Below, J. Ellis Weinstein, and Mary Jo Pehl have their own movie-mocking project, Cinematic Titanic. All of this is very well worth seeking out, but for me, there's nothing quite like the original, which I'm reasonably certain was the first new TV show I remember connecting with that wasn't trying to sell me something. So for those of you wondering where exactly my sense of humor comes from, now you know who to blame. Push the button, Frank.